Well, as we anticipated, week one being was ugly. We played hard. We got a lot to learn. That's just where I think I probably almost every coach in the country would have the same opening statement after week one. But I'm excited to get back in the gym and fix some things this week going into another difficult environment at Michigan State this weekend. So, questions?
What did you learn about your team, finally seeing them against other competition in that situation?
Well, as typically is the case, there's a few surprises. Some are good, some are bad. Some of the positive surprises, I thought all three of our freshmen played really, really well in their roles. Certainly Olivia Skidmore had a fantastic weekend for us. Very steady. She's just such a steady kid in the way that she does things, and she keeps it simple. And a term I use a lot is paralysis by analysis, and with young players you get that a lot, and that's not her. She just, what are you asking me to do? Okay, that's what I'll go do. And most kids start having their own thoughts, and she keeps it simple. And so she had a really, really good weekend for us. I think our team's physicality showed. We blocked like 3 balls a game, which is an extraordinarily high number this weekend. But we chose a defensive approach to preseason this year and really kind of put offense on the back burner a little bit. And that's unusual for me because we're usually one of the better offensive teams in the country. And I think it showed. I think there's some things offensively that we need to be better at, and that'll be a big focus this week.
One of the things I do from the post-game for Kentucky, you played 3 games this weekend, 2-1. But it's after the Kentucky game, you said you felt like that was the best play all weekend.
Yeah, no question. When you're a coach at heart, I guess, you're looking for a process. And, yeah, as ironic as it seems, I felt better after we lost to Kentucky than I did after we won either of the other 2 matches. I just, there were little things that we should have been. This early in the year, there's things you're not ready to do. And then this early in the year, things you have to do to be successful. And we weren't very good at those little things through the first couple matches. And then, I think Kentucky probably brought out a different level of focus from us and things of that nature. And I know those scores do not reflect that match very well. Like, we split those first 2 games. They put it to us in the first set, and we put it to them in the second set. And they win that third. The fourth set was 11-10. Like, we're 15 points away from getting to a 5th set against the number 9 team in the country. And I liked a lot of the things we did there, and I think there are things we can build on moving into week 2.
You brought up Olivia. Were you expecting her to be, so effective, or that playing that well, at the beginning of the season as young as she is?
Not really. Not because she's not talented, but because she's simply young. And Faith Young and Olivia Skidmore, both, they're 2 freshman outside hitters fighting for the same playing time. Honestly, Faith is the kid that I anticipated coming in a little bit more game ready. She's got a little bit more volleyball feel to her, and Faith is doing great. I got to continue to find ways to get her on the court because she is a talented kid. But Olivia's consistency has been what has allowed her to end up earning that playing time early on. Is Faith has done what most freshmen do. She has good stretches and bad stretches. Olivia has just been steady. And athletically, physically, I think she showed she can play at this level. She was standing toe-to-toe with Kentucky, and her numbers look just as good in that match as they did in the other 2. And that's exciting for her future, but I've also been doing this long enough to know that, as a freshman, you're going to have your ups and downs. And but it was an exciting start for her, and one that I'm sure she really is pleased with.
Looking at that AK North Kentucky match, that second set there, I don't know if I've ever seen Western go that far in a game.
Yeah.
As I've been here, what was that like?
Well, it was both frustrating and exciting all at the same time because we went all those extra points. In a lot of ways, we were in extra points against Northern Kentucky because we continued to shoot ourselves in the foot. But on the flip side of that, we also wouldn't quit, and we just kept grinding and stayed in it. And you're interested in what your team's going to do when it's close. And that one was back and forth. We had a couple set points. Then Northern flipped it, and they had a couple set points. And we had a couple plays in there that we had to win to stay alive in that set that were just effort. Like, they weren't very pretty. And so it was frustrating because I'm not so sure we should have been in that moment in that set, but when we were, I thought our kids fought and showed some toughness, which we're going to need over these next few weeks.
Looking ahead to this weekend, what do you see? What do you kind of expect from the three teams?
Yeah, interesting. It's actually a really great weekend on paper. There's different levels of competition. Marist has struggled a little bit out of the gate. And then you got a Loyola team that's been an NCAA tournament team for the last, couple years. But they have a lot of turnover to their roster, but they look like they had a really competitive opening weekend in terms of not necessarily win-loss, but competitiveness. They're a team that we've been in some real battles with. And then you take a shot at Michigan State on their home court. It'll be their Friday night match, their home opener. They'll probably have, 3,000-4,000 people in there. They just went toe-to-toe with, they had a great win over Colorado State, which is an incredibly hard place to win, and went point for point with Florida through a couple sets. Like, they're going to be a big challenge for us. And so it's a lot of different levels of challenge this weekend. And so it's the race, man. It's Monday. I can't wait to tear out of here and get in a practice gym and try to fix a few things moving forward. I'll say it again. I like our team. But no match is a match we can't win right now. No match is a match we can't lose right now. And, that drives me to get in the gym and get some of these things fixed. But, we've got this is the stretch coming up here. We now, 5 of our next 7 are Michigan State, Tennessee, Marquette, Dayton, Illinois. That's 5 of our next 7 matches. So, dig in. You guys, if I need a pep talk walking out of the press conference next week, give me one. So I'll let you know. But it's crazy. We may get beat up on and play well, but we'll be in every game. I mean, we won't play anybody that is better than that Kentucky team that we proved we could play with. And it's just a matter of the level of consistency that we can do things. And so it's an exciting time to see how quickly we can fix some of the things that we need to fix.
I know with volleyball, there's a lot of travel at the younger ages, high school. Like, they would play all the tournaments across the country and stuff. But, when you get to this level and you're basically playing, tournaments like that for the start of the season, with the younger teams, you find yourself having to coach it differently than what you're used to in the past, knowing that you have a lot of veterans from the past.
Yeah, no, you gotta handle it a little bit different depending on the level of experience of your team, and you just got to keep everybody in a, one of my quotes that we spew over and over this time of year is there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. And everything is, it's all about how you perceive what's going on. If you fail and you get down on yourself, then you're not going to improve. But everything is just, let's see it on film. Like, I tell our players that they get it wrong a lot. Like, the worse you play, the less you want to watch your film. And the worse you play, the more excited you should be to watch your film. Okay? Because you can play or you wouldn't be here. And so let's dig in and see what we can fix. And it's just like this race against the clock to get it done before you have to lace them up and play again. And the scoreboard this early in the year does not always tell the tale of what a team is if you really dig in and watch. I watched our football team, against Alabama last week, and I really watched that first half. And if you really watch that first half of that game, I mean, you look at the final score and you think, okay, they got smoked, and the final score said that. Okay, but if you really watch that first half against one of the elite teams in the country, our offense is able to move the ball and get in position to score several times, and they just shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers and missed field goals and stuff like that. But as crazy as it sounds, I walked away from that game feeling really excited about WKU football because I like a lot of the things from a coaching perspective that I thought they were able to do, and it just didn't show on the scoreboard, but it will.
Coach, I know coming into the year you talked about the turnover from Warren Matthews to Paige Briggs. And now you talk about Kaylee Cox going to fill in that role. How do you think she performed over this weekend in that role?
That's a good question. I don't think Kaylee would say she had a great weekend. She still did a lot of things for us. But, offensively, her numbers weren't what she's accustomed to, and serving-wise, her numbers weren't what she's accustomed to. And that's just an adjustment period that she's going to have. Like, it's different. No matter how talented you are, it is different when that much responsibility is on your shoulders. But she's a smart kid and a really good player, and she's one of the kids I can't wait to sit down and watch film with and show her some of the things that she needs to do differently. And then she just has to settle into the burden of carrying such a heavy load for our team, and she will. I think you'll see better weeks ahead for her. And again, that's not to say she had a awful weekend, because she did a lot of winning things for us. But I'm sure she would say that a lot of her numbers weren't up to her standards. But she'll get there. She's a veteran and a talented player, and so there is just an adjustment period, of learning to be the man, and she'll make that very quickly.
I think all the players played, specifically 3 games, but for you, is that just trying to figure out where the rotation?
Yeah.
Or is that you?
Well, it's some of both. Yes. I mean, we're experimenting with some different people in different positions and stuff like that. But I said going in, we'd use this whole roster, and we will most nights. There'll be matches where we only play 10, but I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of nights where you're going to see all 12 of them end up on the court in some capacity. And, and the only thing that would ever keep that from happening is just a really elite level of consistency, which would be fine by me if we get there. But I said I had trust in this team, and I think that was reflected in the opening weekend. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Who Dey?